guys, you don't know what just happened to me. So I'm driving and I see this taxi. He comes out of the engine garage, and then he doesn't drive down to the front to cut like we expect taxis to do, but he actually he stops and he starts indicating and stuff. And I see this taxi, and my first thought was, look at this taxi, and then I thought to myself, oh my gosh, Katie, the taxi is actually doing what normal people do, so it's so funny because now I'm just like, okay, so now just the sight of the taxi, regardless of what type of a driver he's being, you are just going to be like a jerk. Anyway, so I stop, and I give him way, and he says thank you, and I just need, I was like, yo, this is actually it's actually kind of deep that we're so, sometimes how we experience people, whether it be an individual or a group of people or a place, we can look at it and we can kind of just throw every single experience we've ever had on this poor thing or this poor person, regardless of, who they want to introduce themselves to you as. And as I'm speaking now, I realized, so that was actually a really big thing for me in terms of just men in my life, because I was like, yeah, I need to get over the hurt so that every man I meet isn't paying for the mistakes of other men in my life. But at the same time, then I'm also just speaking, as I'm speaking now, I just think to myself, oh my gosh, but this is also how I think it is with people, just and their experience of Jesus or church or Christians. And it can be really unfortunate. If we go through the examples, and we've all had them, with Jesus, maybe when you were young, a family member got sick and you prayed and you were like, Jesus, please don't let my mom die, and my mom died, and because of that experience, you've decided, okay, well, faith is not something you're ever going to look at. Maybe you went to a church and the people in the church were so judgy, and they were just not nice, or you didn't feel supported, you didn't feel like they were there for you, and as a result, you've kind of written off church and you've become one of those people that, I will church in my room. And I do that because I do not agree with that decision. That's not a church thing. That's not, you don't use the Bible to back that up. That's nonsense. Anyway, I'm sure I'll get a few comments from that. Or, people who walk around calling themselves Christians, but are probably the most inaccurate representation of who Christ actually is, or he wants to be to you. And because of your experience, maybe I was that person for you, I don't know, but and because of your experience with that person, you've now decided that, okay, well, screw the whole faith thing. So all these different things in life that we go through, that just happen, that end up giving us shades that we use to paint our potential experiences with other people or with other things. And I think the encouragement today is, sometimes it is possible that you will then meet the taxi driver that will stop and that will indicate. And in that moment, you then have a choice to make. Are you going to be the person that hoots the taxi driver, doesn't give him space, and it's like, no, what are you doing? Why are you trying to get in my way? You're a taxi, I don't like you. Or are you actually just going to get over yourself in that moment, or for that moment, and treat the taxi driver like a driver on the road, like any other car, and actually pause and give him way. And I know I can understand that obviously with my example, it was easier, it's easier to do it, so it's easy to say it. And sometimes the relationships or the experiences that we have make such situations really difficult to do. But I think that's part of why we need to have people around us, because then we're actually able to say, okay, well, look, this is actually what happened to me, and I'm really struggling with this because I don't know how to treat people outside of my experience. If you aren't aware, I will always say, ask God to show you where in your life have you done that, or with who, or with what type of people have you done that. And once he starts revealing that to you, then ask somebody to actually walk alongside with you and just be like, hey, listen, I actually want to address this, but I'm struggling on my own, so will you walk alongside me? Okay, have a good weekend, and I hope that helps. Cheers, guys.